Most welcome to the page here on GBC News. This is where we do chit chat, and this is where we get those who matter when it comes to sports development. They tell us what is up their sleeves, and today the chapter on the page here is about a new sport that is really gaining ground. A sport that I don't know how to put it, but everybody that gets closer to the sports or gets a first hand of watching says, "I can do it." It is not biased. It doesn't have any limit restrictions. And so it's a unique sport, and in this era where we're doing post-COVID coverage here and there, a good sport to really work out, burn out accumulated calories, have fun, socialize, network, you just name it. This is the sport we're talking about. It is called the flying disc sport. Well, so the Ghana Flying Disc Association has been in the system for a while now. Virtually, I can say they are babies in the country when it comes to the disciplines we have. We have 46 disciplines and counting. They are joining them, and so they are a baby. They started a year ago, and they've been doing something good. And lo and behold, the weekend they began their Ultimate League Championship, and they are here to really throw more light on it. I don't know if you're familiar with this sport, but today I believe that after this interaction, you get closer to it and see how it is. It's a game that the family can play. You can create a family team and then play. There is no referee, no linesman, no VAR to tell you it was a goal or no controversies here and there. Let me introduce my guest. To my immediate left, I have this gentleman full of smiles. He loves Ghana than himself. His name is Greg Morrison. He is a volunteer coach from the U.S. Embassy here in Accra. He loves this sport, and so he walks us through. And then we have the president of the Ghana Flying Disc Association. He's in the person of Desmond. He just likes to be called Desmond. I don't know why, but the rest he doesn't. So, gentlemen, most welcome.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you guys, and thank you very much for weaving through the traffic and coming here. Let me start with you, Greg, because you seem to love Ghana very, very well. Yes. So, if we are giving you the opportunity to choose, okay, the other African countries, Ghana and your country, which one would you like to be in again?
Well, I feel very at home here in Ghana. And I was just saying, I've been traveling recently, and I mentioned to Desmond, I sampled some dishes very close to palava sauce in Ghana. They don't compare. It's palava sauce for me.
So you love our palava sauce?
Yes.
Some people feel that our jollof is good.
I love the Ghana jollof. Obviously, Ghana jollof has proven its strength in the last week, hasn't it?
Good.
So that's Greg Morrison here. He's a volunteer coach for the Ghana Flying Disc Association, and then Desmond Mantey, Kwame Mantey is the president. And so Desmond, I still see it as a dream, but I don't know how you guys started, but the weekend history was made.
Good.
First time in the history of Ghana and the Ghana Flying Disc Association,
Good.
A league started.
Good.
Okay. When we talk about flying disc, walk us through for a first timer, not people like us, but for a first timer. When we talk about flying disc, what are we talking about?
So the flying disc sports is a game played with a disc, and we have variants of it. We have the ultimate Frisbee, which you saw last week, and which we play with this particular disc. We also have a disc.
So show the disc to my camera and let's see. So this is the
disc.
ball. Let's see. It's virtually the ball.
Yeah, this is the ball. You're right.
It's the ball.
And this is what you tossed from one point to other, with the objective of getting into your opponent's end zone to make a score.
Okay.
So basically, the game is about tossing the disc, and you don't run with it. As soon as you catch it, you stop and you look for your next opponent to help you achieve your aim. And so that is about it. And this is also for the disc golf.
Okay.
It's also another variant of the game, and this is the type of disc we use to play with the disc golf. So basically, as I mentioned, the disc sports is about the game we play with the disc, and the Ghana Flying Disc, actually our aim is to promote the disc sports in Ghana. So how are we doing it? We are actually taking the game to schools, universities, and I think a few other sectors like the security services. And very soon, just as you saw our league, you're going to see all those sectors coming on board to play the game.
So what brought about this sport? Greg, let me come to you.
Yes.
You said you've played this sport for almost 3 decades?
Absolutely, yes. In fact, the last time I played on a league was 29 years ago. So I am a very old man for the sport, and learned it in secondary school in America, and then played again in university and graduate school, and played on teams in the 1990s. and have carried it with me when I've traveled to other countries to find pickup games and organize games. But this is the first time here in Ghana, this is the first time that a league was formed growing out of our pickup game. So it was a great pleasure to see the energy of the Ghana Flying Disc Association to develop so rapidly an organized structure for the sport in the country. And they're doing an amazing job of developing the sport here in Ghana.
Okay, viewers, so whilst they talk and they look exciting, we'll be seeing some of the highlights, some of the young ones that really decided to participate in the first league. You were talking about a game that you don't run, a game that when you manage to hold on to the disc,
You stop, you come to a standstill.
and then you get all the time in this world, look around for your partner
Good.
or your team player.
You get 10 seconds.
Okay,
Good.
10 seconds
Good.
to do it. So if you don't do it, I didn't see an officiating official. Walk me through.
Good.
What sports do you play without officiating official? How do you score? How do you win?
So basically, this one key aspect of this game is the spirit of the game, which is actually the guiding principle behind this whole game. The spirit of the game touches about 4 or 5 key elements. The first one is you have to know the rules. And I think it's just proper that everybody playing the game knows the rules. 2, you have to avoid contact. You don't need to hit somebody, you don't need to touch anybody. It's a non-contact game. 3, you have to be fair-minded. You have to be honest. If it's a foul, it's a foul. And that is the main reason why you didn't see referees on there. The players themselves call their own referee based on the spirit of the game, which talks about fairness. So you have to be honest. And the last thing is you have to communicate respectfully. In the course of the game, if you happen to have anybody touching you in a way you don't like, or probably the infraction between you and your opponent, it has to be resolved peacefully and amicably. And so if you look at the spirit of the game, these aspects makes our game a little bit different from other games. Basically, Ultimate Frisbee borrows few aspects from football, from rugby, nothing from baseball. But one thing that keeps us apart, that strikes the big difference between Ultimate Frisbee and the other games, is the spirit of the game, which is actually lived during the course of the game. Unlike football, yes, there are rules, but you still have referees to officiate because there's an expectation that somebody might not go according to the rule. No, in Ultimate Frisbee, you don't do that. You have to be honest. No matter who you are, as soon as you step on the field to play Ultimate Frisbee, all you have to do is you have to be honest and you play with fun. It's all about fun.
So, viewers, you will soon see some of the highlights on our screens when we're talking about this. It's about just holding this disc. You throw, so like this, you throw, and then it goes, and then your partner or your teammate just grabs it. He or she grabs it, immediately stands. They have 10 seconds to turn around and look for whoever, so you don't crash. So if it happens that all of you are in the air and you grab it, you get the opportunity to really stop, so you don't often crash. If it even happens that you are all gauging at the same ball and you dive, one will catch it. But the moment you catch it, so like the gentleman, that is it. He has to turn, look for his partner, then go. So they continue playing like this. So he falls down, then he goes to the opponent.
Good, exactly.
Because
so.
he couldn't grab it.
As soon as
so
he
run
loses
us through
it.
the commentary. So when we
Good.
see people doing this,
Good.
kids playing or seniors playing, just watch it.
Good. So basically, this is a turnover.
Okay.
And the white team couldn't keep possession of the. As soon as the disc, when you have possession of the disc and you lose it, it drops it. It's also a turnover.
Okay.
Yeah. Anytime you have the disc, the idea is to make sure you have control over it, and the opponent's objective is to distract the disc. So good. So as you can see, there's a distraction over there.
Okay.
And then they quickly are going to take possession, and the objective is to move it to their end zone. Unfortunately, they were also weren't able to keep possession. You drop it. So anytime you drop, it's a turnover. Okay. So usually your objective is to make sure that you pass the disc in your hands to the end zone of your opponent, and then you make a score.
But there is no goal post there. There is this line that
Good.
or cones that serve as the end zone. So how do you score?
So basically there's an end zone which is clearly demarcated for everybody to see. So when you catch the disc in that end zone, then it is a goal.
Oh, okay.
And then quickly the teams are going to change sides, and the team that scored is going to start by passing the disc freely to the other team so that they can take it and then start to attack.
So how many minutes? We know football is 90 minutes. We know rugby 45 minutes or 7 minutes based on the type that they are playing. So for ultimate frisbees. How do you score?
So for the game,
And how many minutes?
For the ultimate frisbee game, we don't have a set time on it.
Okay.
It's actually game to 15 or probably 12, depending on competition that is at stake. So usually what you do is when the first team gets to 7 or 8, there's a half time.
Okay.
And then when it gets to 15, the game is over. If you are able to get to 15 within 3 minutes, you won.
Then the game ends
Quickly.
So it's like a knockout.
Exactly so. It could take you a day because your opponent is tough and they are not making you score good. But that notwithstanding, it's all about fun.
Oh, okay.
It's all about fun whilst exercising. Good.
And so, since you started playing 3 decades ago, will you say this sport has molded you into who you are today in terms of the traits the sport carries?
Yes, please. I would say so. So as you can see, I'm not exactly the tallest or fastest runner, but this is a sport I was able to feel welcome in from the very beginning, and that's one of the great things about Ultimate is it is a welcoming community of players. And we even welcome men and women to play together. We welcome beginners to play because it is a young sport. And so for me, it was an opportunity to really get involved in an organized sport and play very hard and build my skills. And so I've been able to do that and also to welcome new generations into the sport. But for me, especially that spirit of the game is a very important part of why I have a love for this sport, because it teaches that sportsmanship, that sense of character that you don't see in many other sports. You know, it's very funny to watch some of the young players here who clearly bring their football skills to the field, and that's very good. But when there's a collision on the pitch the first couple of times, they fall, they'll roll, they look up for the referee to call a foul. There's no referee. They realize, get up, keep playing. And I really enjoy watching as they appreciate that this is how the game grows and how you play, is this sense of respect for one another and an honor system, the spirit of the game.
Well, great. Now, as the president of this young sport, we've seen you in Accra. We have 16 regions in this country. Where again can we locate you? Are you everywhere? If no, where are you now?
As I speak to you, we have 5 regional associations working to promote the objectives of the Ghana Flying Disc Association. And the Ashanti Regional Flying Disc Association is working, the Central Regional Flying Disc Association is working, the Eastern Regional Flying Disc Association is working, the Western Regional Flying Disc Association, in addition to the Greater Accra Regional Flying Disc Association. So these 5 regional associations are all in their small bits working to promote the game. If you go to the Western region at Ghana Technical Training School, we have a coach there who was part of the coaching workshop, and as I now I can tell you that he has set up about 2 teams which are, they are doing good, they are training seriously. At the Eastern region, we have Ibri girls also trying to pick up. Also, the Presbyterian Senior High School is also playing, and we're also looking to add a few more schools. Accra is also always ahead of everything. We have a few more clubs in Accra. Yesterday, we were able to have discussions with the University of Ghana, and hopefully, they're going to be starting the game soon. So the game is spreading, but as I speak to you now, we are hard on resources. We are stuck because these regions that you mentioned are areas that we need resources to develop. So as we speak, we're also talking to our sponsors, all stakeholders to come on board so that we can effectively promote the game, not only in Accra and other regions that we think we can actually make good inroads. Yeah.
On the world stage, how big is this sport? This sport? Because there I saw the World Federation logo there. I saw friends from Japan, other companies or other countries really excited about Ghana practicing this sport. So how big is it?
So as I speak to you, the game is officially played in about 100 countries. Ghana happened to be one of the last countries that got affiliated to the World Flying Disc Federation. So all these 100 countries, they have the game going on. And it's going every day. As I speak to you, I think Togo is also working to become a member of the World Flying Disc Federation. I think Ivory Coast is also doing the same, and a few other countries, other African countries are also working together. So the audience is big, and every day in, day out is growing bigger. Good.
Now, in terms of recognition, how is the ministry, the National Sports Authority, embracing you guys?
Good. Luckily for us, we had recognition. We are actually affiliated with the World Flying Disc Federation. As I speak to you now, our arrangements with the ministry, with the National Sports Council is almost is close to done, and they have been very supportive of our efforts. And then I can tell you that any moment from now, we will get our national recognition from the National Sports Council. Having said that, I think beyond that, we also need their support to effectively push the game. I'll use this platform to call on our National Sports Authority handlers to let them know that we need coaches. You know, that is one thing that is disturbing us. And if you're able to get some of the coaches from the National Sports Authority to help us in our community work, I think it's going to be very good for us.
We'll get enough time to come and dissect more of the issues. But Greg, you're from the American Embassy.
Yes, please.
I believe that you love the sports, and so there will be support from there. Before we check out from the studio, what message you have for a Ghanaian who is watching us for the first time? 30 seconds. What do you tell them about this sport?
Sure. I think the great thing about this sport, again, is that it is a sport of sportsmanship. It is welcoming to all who want to learn and to play. So if you've never played before, you will find a team and a community who will welcome you. And it is a team that it's a sport all about inclusion. Our team, for example, in this league has men and women playing on the same team, and that is another opportunity for the sport, is to include young women and girls in sports as well. And so I think that's a great opportunity here in Ghana, and so I encourage that young women will come out and play as well as the young men in the sport.
So viewers, time not on our side, we'll be getting officials more from the Flying Disc Association to come and tell us exactly the league, how the format of the league is, number of teams participating, and why you and I should be part of it. I'm Theophilus Sampa. Thank you very much, Greg.
Thank you.
And thank you. Desmond is the president. Greg is a volunteer coach from the American Embassy. Guys, thank you very much for doing the watching. Catch this sport near your corner in the coming days. Bye for now.